Talk to Fluency from beginner to fluent.
Take your English skills to the next level.
Welcome back to The Deep Dive. We're the show that tries to give you that shortcut to being well-informed. And today, we're looking closely at something really relevant for, well, probably many of you listening.
Yeah.
How do you actually make real progress with your A1 English speaking?
Yeah, and build that confidence.
Exactly. Building confidence when you're using the language.
Yeah.
So this deep dive is really designed for you, the learner. We want to cut through all the noise and show you what actually works when you're starting out on your English journey.
Right. And when we say A1 English, we're talking about those really foundational steps,
Yeah, like understanding very basic things, introducing yourself.
Talking about simple daily stuff, what you like, what you don't like. It's all about getting comfortable right at the beginning.
Definitely. So we've looked into some really great sources for this, not just theory, but like real world stuff.
Yeah, insights from people who are out there, living it, learning it, using English every day.
And our mission here, it's to pull out those key strategies, maybe some surprising ideas that are going to help you speak English with, well, more confidence and just as importantly, more enjoyment.
Yeah, that enjoyment piece is crucial.
Okay, so let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
So looking at these real experiences, one thing really jumped out. Learning a language, it's hard.
Oh, yeah. No sugarcoating that. It takes effort.
But, and this is the exciting bit, our sources didn't just stop at it's hard. They really showed how incredibly rewarding it is, too. And the number one thing, the absolute most important ingredient for making progress, that came up again and again. It's time.
Time. Yeah. Consistent study, consistent practice.
You just have to put in that steady effort. It's like non-negotiable for actually getting anywhere.
But what's really fascinating is why someone commits that time, right? Especially when it gets tough.
Right. What keeps you going?
And the answer, well, it's pretty simple but powerful. Fun.
Fun. Right.
Yeah. If it's not enjoyable, if it feels like homework or a chore.
You're just not going to do it consistently.
Exactly. It becomes almost impossible to maintain that necessary time investment. We heard people saying things like, the best part of learning English is actually getting to talk to people from other countries.
Making new friends.
Yeah. Making connections. Imagine that, right? Just the joy of being able to chat with all these different people around the world, all because you started learning to speak English.
That's a huge motivator.
It really is. And, if we connect this to the bigger picture of learning, especially speaking, it really reframes how we should think about mistakes.
Okay. The dreaded mistakes.
Right. Because it's completely normal to feel, sad or frustrated, maybe a bit nervous when you don't understand something.
Or when you try to say something and it just comes out wrong.
Exactly. Those feelings are totally universal when you're learning, but our sources are super clear on this. Making mistakes, whether it's grammar or vocabulary or even pronunciation, it's not just normal.
It's essential.
It's absolutely essential for getting better. You have to talk, you have to practice, and those very errors you make, that's how you learn, that's how you improve.
So embracing the imperfections is actually like a secret weapon for growing your A1 English speaking skills.
Precisely. If it's not fun, and if you're too scared of making mistakes, it just makes learning so much harder.
That really does shift the mindset, doesn't it? It's not about being perfect right away.
Nope. It's about participating, getting involved.
Okay, so if that's the foundation time, fun, embracing mistakes,
yeah,
let's get practical. How do we actually do that? Here's where it gets really interesting with some concrete steps from our sources. Things to make learning English, especially speaking A1 English, more fun and effective.
Good stuff. Let's hear them.
All right. Tip number 1. Read interesting books or articles.
Okay.
And the advice is really clear. Don't force yourself to read boring stuff just because you think you should.
Right. Find things you're actually interested in.
Exactly. Like if you love sports, find some simple sports stories or news in English. If you're into animals, maybe children's books or simple websites about pets or wildlife.
Technology.
Yeah. If you like tech, find short articles, simple blog posts about gadgets. One person we looked at mentioned starting with just short, simple fiction stories because, well, it was way more engaging than grammar drills.
And that makes perfect sense, especially for A1.
The key is connecting it to what you already care about, right?
Totally. Reading about topics you love, it's incredibly powerful. It keeps you hooked, provides that natural motivation. You're not just, learning English vocabulary. You're exploring something you enjoy through the language.
It feels less like studying.
Exactly. It feels more organic, and you start picking up common words and simple sentences related to your interests almost without realizing it.
Yeah.
That makes it so much easier to actually talk about those things later.
Yeah, good point.
What really stands out is just how much personal interest fuels the whole learning process, making it fun, not just effective.
Absolutely. It's about weaving English into your life, not keeping it separate. Which leads really nicely into tip number 2. Watch interesting videos in English.
The visual element.
Yeah, same idea as reading, really. Pick content you genuinely enjoy watching.
So, like, if you're into fashion,
Watch simple fashion vlogs, maybe short get ready with me clips, things like that. If you love cars, watch reviews or short documentaries about cars.
there's so much content out there now.
Oh, totally. The internet is just overflowing with stuff on every topic imaginable, all in English. And often with subtitles, too, which can really help with understanding at the A1 level. We saw someone mention they loved watching simple cooking shows, even if they didn't catch every single word.
The visuals help.
Exactly. The visuals let them follow along, and they started picking up common verbs like mix, cut, add.
And that's incredibly effective for A1 learners. Watching stuff you find engaging, it boosts your listening skills massively. Plus, you start absorbing natural phrasing, rhythm, pronunciation.
Kind of by osmosis.
Sort of, yeah, in a subtle, unforced way. You're building that intuitive feel for how English sounds and flows, which is so important for speaking confidently later on.
Right. It connects words to actions, images,
Yeah.
makes it stick better.
Makes new vocabulary much easier to remember and, crucially, to actually use when you start speaking.
Okay. So read interesting stuff, watch interesting stuff. What's tip number 3?
This one feels maybe a bit more challenging for some.
Let's hear it.
Make friends who speak English or who are also learning English.
The social connection. Yeah, that can feel daunting.
It can. We know it's not always easy to find people. But the sources really emphasize how incredibly helpful this is specifically for practicing speaking. One person shared how they joined an online language exchange platform. Just chatting like 15 minutes a day made a huge difference to their confidence.
Wow, just 15 minutes?
Yeah. And a great practical tip was to look for maybe English practice groups in your city.
Yeah.
You know, sites like meetup.com sometimes have them, or even just sticking with those online language exchange partners. And this really underlines the importance of that social interaction for speaking practice, especially when you're starting at A1.
It's different from just studying alone.
Totally different. Real conversations, even if they're basic and full of mistakes, they build your confidence and fluency much, much faster than just studying books or apps in isolation. When you're actually talking with someone, you're not just practicing words in a vacuum. You're practicing the real back and forth of conversation.
The give and take.
Exactly. Those little nuances, figuring out how to get your meaning across. That's the whole point of learning to speak English, right? To connect and be understood. It just makes the language feel alive.
Okay, so those are some great strategies, reading, watching, connecting. But how does this actually, look in day-to-day life? How do we bring English into just normal interactions?
Deep question.
Our sources gave some fantastic, really relatable examples. They show how everyday topics are perfect for A1 English practice. Let's talk about food.
Food. Always a good topic.
Right. We heard from someone who very honestly admitted, I don't cook well, but I love eating.
I can relate to that.
Me too. But think about that sentence for an A1 learner. It's simple, clear, expresses a preference, a personal fact. Perfect.
Yeah. Uses basic verbs, but very accessible.
And this person loved talking about food. It's a great example. They mentioned like all the different types of Mexican tacos.
Tacos.
And trying tacos lengua. That's tum tacos for anyone wondering.
Adventurous.
Yeah. And even if maybe they weren't cooked perfectly, the experience was memorable. So you can use simple words to describe that. I tried tacos lengua. It was new. Interesting.
And what's so useful here is seeing how these everyday things, food, family, daily routines, they're just packed with common vocabulary. They're natural conversation starters, absolutely ideal for practicing A1 English speaking.
You don't need complicated grammar.
Not at all. You can talk about your favorite foods or what you had for breakfast using really simple structures. Like the speaker also mentioned homemade pasta.
Right. Not from a box.
And called ravioli perfect food. Again, for an A1 learner, that shows how to use strong, simple adjectives, perfect, better, to give a clear opinion.
Exactly. And breakfast, too. They talked about eggs, usually scrambled.
Standard breakfast fare.
But their absolute favorite, Eggs Benedict and pancakes. But get this, with maple syrup and peanut butter.
Peanut butter on pancakes. Okay, that's different.
They described it as Strange but delicious.
Yeah.
Another brilliant example for A1 learners using simple adjectives like strange, delicious, and that connector but
Oh,
to talk about unique tastes.
nice.
And my personal favorite food they mentioned, chilaquiles.
How do you say that again?
Chilaquiles. They called it their favorite breakfast in the world.
I praise.
Yeah. And described it simply. Tortilla chips, salsa, cheese, cream, often eggs on top. See? Just listing ingredients and saying favorite. That's great A1 practice.
Totally doable.
They even talked about loving steak, different cuts, cooking it in a pan because they don't have a grill,
Practical details.
and buying cheaper meat because, well, steak can be pricey. All these simple descriptions, they're just gold for practicing basic English speaking.
Absolutely. And notice how these everyday food details then naturally connect to other parts of daily life.
Like routines.
Yeah, and even cultural observations. They talked about dinner times in the U.S., families often eating together around, say, 6:30 p.m.
Usually between 5 and 7.
Right. And they mentioned how that's different from some other countries where people might eat much later, like 8 or 9 p.m., which they felt was too late.
Okay.
So there, an A1 learner can practice expressing an opinion too late and comparing simple cultural habits. It also brought up the idea of family dinner time being important for talking about your day, another perfect chance for simple English chat.
Makes sense.
And we also got little snippets of daily routines. Someone mentioned usually waking up around 6:30 a.m.
Getting some exercise in every day, sometimes with their wife.
Yeah. Very simple actions, but you can express them clearly in A1 English. I wake up at 6 a.m. I exercise. I eat breakfast. These are like the building blocks for sharing personal info.
So it doesn't have to be complicated. Talking about your breakfast, your morning walk, whether you like peanut butter on pancakes.
Uh-huh. Maybe not everyone talks about that.
Okay, fair point.
Yeah.
But talking about your simple preferences, your routine, even saying something like that, speaker's philosophy, I don't cook well, but I eat well.
Yeah, I love that line.
It's perfect for a learner, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's funny, self-aware, uses basic grammar, gets the message across clearly.
Mm-hmm.
It just shows you don't need to be, a master chef or have a super exciting life to have things to talk about in English.
Mm.
You just need to be willing to share a little bit about your everyday world.
Using the simple language you have.
Exactly. Talk about what you know, what you enjoy, what you do.
Okay, so bringing this all together, what does it really mean for you, the listener, on your English journey, especially for getting better at speaking?
Yeah, what's the big takeaway? It seems to loop back to that core message. You need to integrate your English learning into the things you already enjoy and the things you already do daily.
Right. It's not necessarily about finding more time.
It's about making the time you have count for English, too.
Exactly. Find that English content, simple books, short videos that actually clicks with your interests, whether it's sports or cars or cooking.
And make the effort to connect with others.
Yeah, actively seek out opportunities to practice speaking. Even if it feels a bit scary at first, just remember those mistakes are actually helping you.
They're signs of progress.
Mm-hmm. And crucially, don't shy away from talking about your simple everyday life. Your food likes and dislikes, your daily routine, little observations. These are the absolute foundations of real conversation, even at the A1 level.
So, to sum it all up, the path to speaking English confidently isn't about some magic bullet or achieving perfection overnight.
Definitely not.
It's much more about consistent, joyful engagement with the language.
Joyful engagement, I like that. Making it part of your life in ways you actually enjoy, not ways that feel like a burden.
Which kind of raises an important question for you, listening right now. How can you start using these everyday topics, these simple tips, to have a bit more fun with English? And importantly, to maybe make a few more mistakes starting today.
Yeah, embrace the mistakes.
Maybe think about just one small, simple change you could make to your routine. Could you describe your breakfast to yourself in English tomorrow morning? Just start there.
Small steps.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into making English speaking, especially at that A1 level, more enjoyable and ultimately more effective.
We hope you'll take a moment to think about your own language learning journey.
And see how you might bring some of these ideas into your daily life.
And maybe a final little thought to leave you with. Instead of worrying about, say, not mastering every single grammar rule immediately, like that speaker who didn't worry about not cooking well, focus on the joy of actually doing it. The joy of speaking, even simply. So what fun element are you going to prioritize in your English learning this week to help you speak just that little bit more confidently?
Something to think about. Okay, that's us for this deep dive.
Great chat.
See you later and Talk to Fluency YouTube channel. Bye.
Talk to Fluency from beginner to fluent.
Take your English skills to the next level.